Hello, my boys. How are you doing? Last time we talked about Sacagawea, and she was so helpful to the core of discovery. Then she gave birth, and at the end of the lesson last time, we studied that they had a problem about the wind that came and stroked the ship. As you see on the picture on page 593, Sacagawea is working while she's carrying her child or her baby Pompey on her back. Now, Sacagawea did an important part or an important action. What do you think is this one? I want you here. I want you guys to read page 593 to check how was Sacagawea helpful. What's the main idea on this page? Of course, she was still helpful to them. Don't forget that rescued means saved. So you have 1 minute to find out the main idea on page 593. Start, my boys. Now, guys, let's listen to the audio to check your answers about what's the main idea. Here you find on this page. Let's listen.
Sacagawea stayed calm and rescued the captain's important things: journals, gunpowder, medicines, scientific instruments, every bundle she could reach. Without these supplies, the expedition could not have continued. A few days later, they came to a beautiful river. The grateful captains named it after Sacagawea.
So, guys, the main idea that Sacagawea rescued the supplies. And at the end, they want to celebrate her, so they named the river after her. Now, guys, let's have a look at these examples on the board. My sick friend is always coughing. Clap your hands. I heard the roar of the lion, and there was a loud bang on the door. Let's have a look at here these words: coughing and the clap and the roar, like this one, and the bang. What do you think, guys? Here, is it here the sound or the action? It's both. So coughing is the sound, and also it's the action itself. Clap is the same. Roar as well, and also bang. That's here, guys, called onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. What the meaning? Onomatopoeia, when you have the sound and the meaning of the words are the same or are similar. When the sound and the meaning are similar, it's called onomatopoeia. So, guys, here these are the examples of the onomatopoeia, like coughing, clap, roar, and bang. I want you guys to come back again to page 594 to find me an example of onomatopoeia on the second paragraph. You have 3 minutes. Okay, guys, time up. Now you'd find that the word cricky in the first line of the second paragraph is the onomatopoeia word. Is the example of the onomatopoeia. Cricky is the sound when something, the old wood, and it's also an adjective to describe it. It's the action and the sound as well. One of the keywords, guys, here in the text is the word cricky. Cricky is the sound of the old wooden wheel, as we've studied in Riding Freedom. You remember while she was crossing the bridge? Here, that's creaky. So, what do you imagine when you think of a creaky wagon? What do you think, guys? Is it here a new wagon or a poor one? An old one? Okay, so it's an old wagon that cannot move easily or cannot go easily. I want you guys to back to page 594, 595. We want to read them to find the answers of these two questions. Can they continue traveling by boat? Yes or no? And why? If yes, why? If no, why not? Second question, what can you infer from the fact that Sacagawea recognized some landmarks? Now guys, after Sacagawea has rescued or saved their supplies, you are going to have another problem. Let's check what problem would they have, guys.
By June, the Corps was entering mountain country. Soon, they could hear the distant roaring sound of the Great Falls of the Missouri. Captain Lewis thought the waterfall was the grandest sight he had ever seen, but there was no way to get past it by boat. It would take the Corps nearly a month to get around the Great Falls and the 4 waterfalls they found just beyond it.
So let's back to the text, guys, or the question that we have. Can they continue traveling by boat? Yes or no? What do you think now? Of course no, it's impossible, because they have waterfalls. Once they have waterfalls, can you go through the waterfalls with boat? Of course not. So it's impossible because of the waterfall. Let's back to the text.
Creaky, clumsy wagons to carry their boats and supplies.
And here's creaky that we have is the onomatopoeia. Here, the example of the onomatopoeia.
Battered by hail, rain, and wind, the men dragged the wagons over sharp rocks and prickly pear cactus that punctured their moccasins. One day, a freak cloudburst caused a flash flood. Rocks, mud, and water came crashing down the canyon. Sacagawea held on to her son as tight as she could, while Clark pushed and pulled them both to safety. Pop's cradleboard, clothes, and bedding were swept away by the rushing water, but all 3 were unharmed. By the middle of July, the Corps was once again paddling up the Missouri. They reached a valley where 3 rivers came together, a place Sacagawea knew well. If she was upset to see it again, she did not show it. The captains learned how Sacagawea had been captured and her people killed.
So guys, let's back to the question. What can you infer from the fact that Sacagawea recognized some landmarks? What do you think, guys, here? Had she been there before or no? Yeah, it's a place that here she had some memory there, or where she had some memory there. That's why she could recognize it. So what can you infer from the fact that Sacagawea recognized some landmark there, that she had been there before, where she was born, or this is the place where she was born or lived when she was young. So guys, till now they had lots of problems when they're driving through this place. It's full, frogs are falling, and all the way is so difficult and dangerous. So the trip till now is so dangerous and difficult. Let's back to the text. Let's complete.
Sacagawea recognized a landmark that her people called the Beaverhead Mountain. She knew they must be nearing the summer camp of the Shoshone. Analyze the text.
So this is the place where they go camping, or where her family or where her village go camping, or her whole village go camping. Now let's go to the onomatopoeia.
Next, onomatopoeia. In the first paragraph on this page is the word roaring. Roar is an example of onomatopoeia. That is, the sound and meaning of the word are similar. Find another example of onomatopoeia in the second paragraph on this page.
We've just answered it, that it's the word creaky in the first line of the second paragraph. Now guys, Sacagawea is dancing with happiness, up and down. Yeah, she's thrilling. Why do you think, guys? Is she thinking this way, or is she dancing this way? Let's back to page 595 and check the text to see check why she's so happy like this way. You have 1 minute, my guys. Now, let's listen to the audio after you finish reading to check why was she happy like this way. Let's listen.
Nearly 2 weeks later, Sacagawea walked along the river, scanning the familiar territory. She spotted some men on horseback far ahead of them. Suddenly, Captain Clark saw Sacagawea dance up and down with happiness, sucking her fingers. He knew this sign meant that these were her people, the Shoshone. An excited crowd.
So she was dancing up and down because they are her family, her people.
Greeted the explorers at the Shoshone camp. Although years had passed since Sacagawea had been captured, a Shoshone woman recognized her. She rushed up to Sacagawea and threw her arms around her.
Now guys, what do you think here? What do you think here, guys, can make somebody a good translator? If you want to be a translator or a good translator, what can make you a good translator? Can you speak only one language to be a good translator? Of course not. What do you think? What can make you a good translator? Of course, Sacagawea is a good translator. We want to check why is she a good translator. Let's back again to page 596 to check or to find out why is she a good translator. Okay guys, have you finished? Time up. So now let's listen to the audio to check your answers.
Lewis and Clark had discovered that their need for Shoshone horses was even greater than they thought. There was far more mountain country between the Missouri River and a water route to the Pacific than they expected. A grand council was called to discuss the matter. Sacagawea was to be one of the translators. Interpreting for the men at the chief's council was a serious responsibility. Sacagawea wanted to do her best. But when she looked at the face of the Shoshone chief, she burst into tears. He was her brother, Kamawayat. Sacagawea jumped up, threw her blanket over her brother, and wept. Kamawayat was moved too, but the council had to continue. Though tears kept flooding back, Sacagawea kept to her duty until the council ended.
So guys, we see that they went to meet the Shoshone to ask them for help, tools and so on, and horses, and ask them to support them. So they sat in a meeting, and during the meeting, Sacagawea was amazed. She was surprised. What is? Then she started crying. Why do you think she crying? It's her brother. She threw her blanket over him, started crying, but oh, now they pause, they complete the meeting. So after meeting, they can talk together again. So let's back to the question that we had before, that the skill that made Sacagawea a good translator. Sacagawea is a good translator. That's the main idea, right? What about the details? That she speaks different languages, right? Like Hidatsa, English. What else? She's also smart and clever. So she speaks. When you go to a place and you want to translate what's happening or what's going on, you must have both of the languages as she speaks. Shoshoni and English, that's the first part. What else? That she's what clever and smart. Okay, guys, thank you for today, and let's complete next time. Don't forget to read the story online, my boys. Thank you. See you next time. Good luck, my boys. Best of luck, Tisha Shadi. Bye.